Theo, we got Kisha and Lisa. Everybody's available for your questions. Talk to
Very
you guys
good.
soon. Welcome, everybody. What's up, Lisa?
Hey, Anthony, Theo, Keisha, welcome to the show, you guys
Peace.
and sisters. I like to just kind of make sure I say that, guys and gals, ladies and gents, everyone who is tuning in today. Thank you for stopping in today and taking a moment of your life to share and connect with us. You are tuning in, so making sure you are in the right place. By a show of hands, and I'm asking my presenters, are you here for real estate?
I am.
Okay, very good. We are in the right place. Today, we are talking about how to make money in real estate using other people's money. And Anthony Lee here, you guys, has brought you on, and he's actually streaming live on his Instagram, right, Anthony?
Yes, I am on
Theo,
daily.
I saw you pop up your phone. My
I'm
guess
gonna
is
go
you're doing
live.
it.
I'm gonna go live on my Instagram too, so we could just make sure it's getting broadcasted. So I'm gonna go live now.
Love it. Keisha, do the same too. I actually have never done Instagram live personally. So this is fun for me. I'm excited. So we are excited. We are so pumped and excited to have you both on the show, Anthony. So let's just shout out the states, right? California, Anthony.
Philadelphia. Well, I'm sorry, Pennsylvania.
Keisha.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Atlanta,
Theo.
Georgia.
There it is. So you guys, we've got some grounds covered in terms of real estate. I feel like we keep solidifying this movement, you guys. We we keep growing.
And we just got some more attendees. We do have some people in the chat room. Welcome everybody that's joining in on the chat room as well.
Wonderful. Welcome. I'm glad, you know what? I'm glad you're watching there because I've got two screens right now that I'm toggling between. So I just want to make sure I'm speaking directly to the camera so that people know I'm engaging, connecting. So we're excited and we'd like to keep it to a minimum. I know Anthony was like, we're trying to keep the time. That way we don't drag this on. But when we talk from a place of passion and purpose as it relates to real estate, we can easily just go on forever. Right? I know, Theo, you be up late. I see your late posts.
Yeah. I had to stop myself. Okay, it just goes on.
The rest is important.
Right. That's so let's go. Let's get right in, you guys. I definitely want to have people connect and learn a little bit more about you, and then we'll go into questions. I will start with. I don't like to assume, but Anthony Lee, you guys, is actually my realtor partner and co-author of Real Estate 100, the Teen and Millennial Investment Blueprint, which, by the way, guess who got their first copy today?
Y'all see that?
Oh, wow.
It just got real, you know? So I'm going to just show off because I'm very proud of Anthony, you guys. Anthony is an author, you guys. Anthony is also our movement's super investor.
That's it.
I'm like 4 inches taller in the book.
Right. Anthony, do you want to go ahead and just plug and just talk, let people know what's happening as it relates to the book release? And we will definitely spin off into Q&A, just learning more about Kisha and Theo as it relates to flip, flop, this and that.
Well, once again, thank you, Lisa. Anthony Lee here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, licensed agent with West Philadelphia Real Estate. As you can see, been in the game for about 3 years, going on 4 now. I'm primarily I focus with first-time home buyers and new investors. I partnered with Lisa about 2 years ago. I met Lisa actually through social media, the power of networking, using my social media for its benefits. And me and Lisa locked in from there, and we've just been working and pushing the movement to teach millennials and teens how to become financial, just become financially ready to take on life and teach people what I wish somebody would have taught me when I was younger. This year, we basically put together a book to which I would consider as my blueprint. It may not work for others, but I feel like it'll work for most people, teaching people, hey, you can purchase real estate and build generational wealth as well. Or you can just create a second income without having to get up and actually physically do work on a daily basis. So the Teen and Millennial Investment Blueprint, it is going to be released June 24th down in Philadelphia, well, here in Philadelphia at the Reading Corner. That'll be actually released tomorrow or tonight. We'll probably drop that flyer so people can come out and register. And you also will be able to meet Lisa in person. She's flying in from LA to help do the event. Yes, we definitely appreciate that. To help do that event. And like I said, the goal is we just want to help everybody. Theo's a person that I connected with in Miami. He's a young, savvy real estate investor developer. Kisha, she's another person that I met. Social media. We happen to know common people that we didn't realize until we started building with each other. She's here in Philadelphia and she's flipping houses. And I'm just myself and Lisa. We're just looking to build that platform to help everybody reach their goals. Because I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't want to wait till I'm 60, 65, 70 to say, hey, do I have a retirement plan? Hey, is there enough in my 401k for me to live the rest of my life and be comfortable? Nor do I really want to have to get up and work every day from 9 a.m. to 9 at night or however long I'm up. So my goal is to use real estate as that tool, that leverage for me to be able to create that dream that I've always imagined of me being like the Diddy of real estate, basically.
There it is. Thank you so much for sharing that. Even though we know each other and we're getting to know each other, it's definitely don't want to ever assume that we know, and gives an opportunity for people to really hear from you what your niche is, what your talent is. Man, I see New York is in the house. Brooklyn's in the house. I really appreciate, like I said, we are solidifying this real estate community really globally, because I know we, with just having the power of Theo in the room, that extends our reach outside of the United States. So that's pretty awesome. And we know that we just want to continue to solidify growing. So let's get, I'm going to go right in this quadrant that I see. I don't know how it looks on your end, but Kisha, I will go to you, sis. If you will, please share a little bit about yourself, and just thank you again. We're going to love on you and just connect and grow and support what you do, and let people know who you are, and just share a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Kisha. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm full-time right now. I am a teacher, a high school teacher, but I also invest full-time also. I've been investing since 2009, 2010. So it's been about 7, 8 years. And I've met a lot of people through social media. I think I did my first partner deal with someone who followed me on social media. So, I'm here to help you guys, and it's so much, or so many opportunities out here in real estate. And so it's enough for all of us to, get in and do things that I wish I would have learned, growing up. I'm meeting people that's younger and younger in their early 20s who's doing it. In my 20s, I was thinking about how can I work harder for someone else so I can make some money to live the way I want to. And then, later in my 30s, learned that that's not the way. So,
Great. Very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Theo, to you, brother, talk to us. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and let them know about the Solutionist.
Okay. You were going to say something, Anthony? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Kisha and Theo, if you can, just drop your social media handles in the chat room, please, for the followers.
Of course. Of course.
Right. You guys, you do have option to do that. So you guys all have presenter options. So you can interact. If as we go along, we can create polls and questions, and we'll continue to just build as we're in here.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I'm Thelonious Jones, Theo for short. I'm originally from Northern California, and I've been in Atlanta. This is my 10th year here. And I mean, I just I've come to realize really more over these last couple of months. I have a unique, unconventional way of investing, but hey, man, I just go in, do what I do. I understand a lot about construction, residential construction. So the value add side is a lot where my plays are at, and we'll probably define that a little more as we discuss more tonight. And I mean, I'm just looking to build, man. You know, just either whether development or whether it's new construction. I don't do too big of developments, or going in and rehabbing and fixing what's already existing. And I've been doing this since I got started when I was 23 because my father was in real estate. So I had been around it a lot. And then when I moved to Atlanta, the opportunities was there, and I went and got my money and threw my money down on something. And, you know, I've been in the game ever since that. So I've just been rolling with it since just my 8th year. So just rolling with it and trying to build and do what I need to do to get bigger and better.
There are a couple things, Theo, that you mentioned that I'm going to revisit. So we're going to expand on you mentioning about getting in, and Kisha, we'll come to you too, just kind of what motivated you to get in real estate. But you mentioned about you're finding out, Theo, that you are investing in an unconventional way. So post it in that, and we're going to come back to that. Because this is essentially the arena that we wanted to talk about. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to investing. I know, Kisha, you will expand and share just kind of what your strategies are, you know, whether you do buy and hold, is it flip for you? Are you holding some of the stuff for your portfolio? And how do you decide that? One of the things, there's a chapter in the book we call when to say deuces, you know, when to say deuces with your investment. And so we just really want to talk about that because, again, it's not a one size fits all. So if you will, Kisha, I can ask Anthony too. I get to pick on Anthony too, in terms of what motivated you to get in real estate. And we'll just go around the room because Anthony, Anthony, you chimed in about your background, but Anthony also is, you guys, a seasoned investor as well, which is why we partnered and we rock and roll with what we're doing, is because it holds a different perspective of real estate from a real estate professional standpoint, especially when we're licensed. Most people don't know we're actually bound by more rules and regulations than most people who are not. So, Anthony.
Yes.
What motivated you to get in real estate?
Okay, I thought you said Kisha first. But
oh, yes, ladies first. Thank you. Queens first.
What motivated me, surprisingly, it was a friend of mine, and he had gotten laid off, and so he was like hustling in the game, and I just sat by and I was just watching. I'm like, oh, okay. And it didn't dawn on me at all. I mean, the connection didn't click until he was actually getting ready to purchase a property and wasn't interested in it. And something was like, well, just, you go for it. And so I had no idea, none whatsoever, where I would get money from to buy a house. I had already mortgaged a house that I paid way too much for, not knowing anything about real estate. My very first home that, I moved into, and I said, who buys multiple houses? You got to be rich to do that. And so, yeah, whoever owns multiple houses, they have to
they got
rich.
money, right?
They got money. And so I had no money. I didn't see how I would buy another house for, as a rental or investment property. And a gentleman who was he was in a tight situation, going through a divorce. Father just died, needed cash right away. So I said, I have $5,000 in the bank, which is really nothing. Will you be willing to accept this $5,000 and let me pay you like $700 or $800 a month, for this house? He said, yeah, because he was only selling it for like 17 or 18. Did it, paid that for a year and a half, had the house free and clear, and fixed it up out of pocket and took out a line of credit on it. And then I learned about that BRR. Was it BRRR?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Buy, rehab, rent, and refinance.
Well, hold on. Drop it in the chat box. Drop it in there. Say it and drop it in the chat box. What is it? Go ahead.
So the buy, the rehab, the renting it out, and then refinancing the property. buy, rent,
You
refi,
forgot the last part.
buy, rent. I'm sorry, buy, rehab. That's what it was. I'm sorry. Buy, rehab, rent, and refinance.
And then
Refinance and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Repeat.
And
Oh,
repeat.
repeat.
You
Oh,
forgot
right. I'm sorry.
That's
Yes,
how
and repeat.
that's how you become rich, by repeating.
Repeat.
That's it.
There
And
you
repeat,
go.
yeah.
There you go. So let me do it again. I'm doing it for you guys. Buy, rent, buy, rehab, rent, refi, repeat. Is it really that, you guys, Theo?
I believe it is. I'm not totally 100%, you know, fully. I know about it, but I haven't done that strategy yet. But I've heard about it, and I know it works. Me and Anthony were actually talking about that. I think, what was it, last week or the week before when I was up in Philly? So it's I think it's a great strategy, especially for new individuals that want to get in the game.
Right.
And like Kisha said, it's a great strategy if you don't have a lot of money. That's pretty much the snowball effect that you're looking for. And however you create that situation, you make the best of it. Because not every deal you're gonna get the same result of a surplus of cash to leverage onto the next property. And just to bring it down a little bit, so Kisha said, "Hey, I had a property. I owned it free and clear. That means no mortgage." She then took that property, went to a bank, and used it for collateral to create basically a credit card. But instead of a credit card, they call it a business line of credit or a home equity loan. Every bank, or depending on how you structure it, will set it up differently for you. But she took that money. She didn't say she went out and bought any red bottoms. She didn't buy a camel. People in Philly know about the camels right now. But she took it and she leveraged to buy other properties. And it pretty much, what, Keish, would you say? It took that one property to get you started, and it was a snowball effect from there.
Yep.
And I'm also a big, I guess, believer in that process as well, because that's the process that basically has helped me become successful. I started out buying properties using my own personal credit and my own money. My very first property I purchased was a duplex. As a first time home buyer, I had to put 3.5% down. So for like my very first property, I think I only spent maybe $4,500 out of pocket. I took that property, built up a little nest egg of money. Then I went and bought another property. Now that property, I borrowed money, just say from John up the block, and I also owned that property free and clear. I was then able to go to the bank, use it for collateral. I didn't do a line of credit, but I did take a mortgage out on it. That mortgage then paid back John from up the block, and it also left me enough money to make another payment or get me into another deal. And from there, it's just, again, domino effect. I went from, just say, 2014-ish, 15-ish, buying one property a year. And from 2015, I would buy two properties in 2015. Then 2016, I think I bought two more or three more. Every year, I would basically scale up. And just this past year, 2016, I bought five properties in that year that I was able to buy them, rehab them, get them rented out, and now I'm still actually kind of going through the refinance process, and then I'll be repeating that process all over. But I'm just saying, like my man Theo would say, go big or go home. If I bought five in 2016, by the end of this year, I'm trying to double that number. Even though I'm behind, but I'm still going to try to double that number.
Right. So I just threw out a poll that people are actually engaging right now. And we're asking our attendees, how many already are buying real estate as an investment? Yes, no, didn't know I should. And I'm being cute and funny about it, but most people, there are schools of thoughts where some folks feel like buying real estate is a liability. And it can be seen that way, yes, when you buy one. And most people are familiar with the cash out, right? This is your first home is cash out because you are paying out the mortgage. What we're talking about tonight is shifting your mindset, if you haven't already, to utilizing those programs and the financing and other options available to you to buy a duplex, a triplex, or even a quad. Now, let me say this, as long as you buy between 1 to 4 units, you're within the residential loan and community. You do more than 4, 5 or more units, that's commercial, and that game is going to require 20% down. It's a whole different ball game, small apartments and things like that. But as it relates to that first time person who's saying, I'm looking to invest and buy real estate, we'd like to just support you and say, have your lender or have your team, an advisor, look at the numbers in buying a duplex, a triplex, or a quad. Why? Because it actually increases your buying power by 75% because they factor in the rental income from those properties. So I just wanted to just love on you and say that. So right now we are at, I think, are we done with the poll, you guys? I'm gonna close it out. So 35%, 36% said that they're already buying real estate as an investment. 64% of our attendees say they are not. And thankfully, no one in here said they didn't know they should be buying it as an investment. So we got some pretty savvy people. And thank you, you guys, for just letting us know just how we can continue to support you. Theo, let's talk about how you got motivated. I mean, we did a show together, you guys, and it was really fun. And I told you guys, right? I said, I'm bringing Theo back.
I
I'm bringing
appreciate it.
Theo back in the show. And I will ask you, share with us your perspective. I know Anthony went into it about his first deal. Tell us a little bit about your first deal, since we were talking about a different strategy and how that springboarded you to the second one.
Yeah. My first deal came from I grew up in the inner city, but where I'm from, real estate is valued so much that you never ever saw any abandoned homes. So when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was driving around some of the roughest neighborhoods. You guys heard about them on these movies, Snow on the Bluff. I mean, I ride through it because that's where I'm from. So it's me embracing that. And when I was riding through there, man, it's too many houses was abandoned. I'm like, dude, how do you buy these abandoned houses? And through divine intervention, because I tried to buy a house in the suburbs, that fell apart because this was like 2008 when all the laws were changing. So they was redlining me to death. The loan fell apart. Then a duplex came up for sale in 30310. If you looked at it, it's probably one of the highest crime, lowest poverty zip codes in the state of Georgia. So that's why I decided to buy. It came on the market for 57. It was a cash market, cash heavy market in 09. So I offered 65. And with my loan, I was only putting $5,000 down. Did a 203K loan. I did $10,000 in rehab. So the purchase was 65, 10,000 in rehab. So my total loan was 75,000. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love that you just went there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
203K.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the rehab loans, because there are some shows that are out there that people don't realize those are actually 203K loans that are, oh my gosh, I'm gonna show you the worst home and I just built out your dream home.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the 203K, Theo? What did you do with it?
Basically, it's when the house, I don't want to get too complex, but basically FHA.
From your perspective, you're good.
Okay, if you get an FHA loan, FHA saying the house has to be, and your certified agents will know more than me, but based on my knowledge, FHA saying that when you move in the house, it has to be move-in ready. You can't be like installing hot water heaters and stuff. When you move in, it has to be done. So basically, since I was only putting a 3.5% down for the FHA, when I moved in, the house needed to be move-in ready. So they gave me a loan on top of the $65,000 I paid for the property. They gave me a $10,000 loan and put it all into one mortgage. So I had one mortgage payment for $700 a month, $750 a month, and I rented the other side for $800. Then I'm 23 years old thinking I'm the ish. I'm at FedEx making $250 a day. So I was just, I blew a lot of money in that lifetime, in that part of my life. Because you know what? People set a false standard for me. And that's really one of my biggest mistakes in real estate. I'm going to work every day and I'm 23 years old. Mind you, you can only get your license at 21. And everybody's like, dude, you made it. You making all this money. So I was listening to a false standard and I was going to the club, spending $500 a night. I was
buying them bottles, VIP.
Yeah. But I made it back in 2 days. That was my philosophy. Oh, I had the money back by Tuesday. You know what I mean? But that wasn't a good philosophy. So that's really how I got in. And my first property I held for 6 years. I moved out in the 4th year. I was making $1,700 a month off that house, paying $700 mortgage. And I sold that same property for $150,000 in 2015. But I had it under contract for $165, but I got kind of mashed up with the appraisal. So I really probably would have sold it for 160 something, but you know, that's neither. So I doubled it, you know, whatever. So that was my first experience with my first property.
Awesome. And I just want to expand on that real quick. The point is higher on the FHA. It is actually an FHA loan. The regular FHA insured loans that you guys normally know about is actually called a 203B. These are all government coded loans. There's a 203H. I believe I won't confuse myself. 203B standard FHA loan, which you guys know about. Theo's talking about the rehab loan, which is a 203K loan, which is a higher point because it is a loan in your purchase price, in your purchase loan that is bundled together. So I just want to revisit that as well. That way you don't think, well, why isn't everybody else doing a 203K loan? Because again, you have to make sure you qualify for the payment. So Theo actually qualified for a certain amount, and what he did was split the purchase price, and the amount he still was eligible for, he used towards the rehab. So I just wanted to just expand on that.
And while we're on the money subject, Theo, how are you currently buying your properties?
Right now, I'm not buying any properties. I'm divesting. All my properties, I'm in a bad partnership, and I had to split up, and my partner would not buy me out. So that's something you guys gotta watch or look out for, because things happen in this game. And one thing I learned not too long ago, before all this happened, is no partnership lasts forever. And I hate to say that, but you got to keep that in mind when you're going in. So I'm divesting. I got an appraisal next week to sell my last property. I still will have a note and a little piece of land left, but everything in Georgia will be sold. I still got some stuff in Louisiana. I'm doing we bought a Katrina house last year, tore it down and rebuilding it. We got 3 inspections tomorrow. And on that, I put cash in, my pops put cash in, and I brought in 2 other private investors. For me, it's because my track record is thick now. It's easier for me to grab money from someone else than it's easier for me to go to the bank, because my track record is strong and I've never lost money on investments. So for me personally, it's easier for me to go raise money because it's easier to me than filling out 20 things of paperwork, but that only comes with a track record. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm really funding my deals now. The thing in St. Croix now, it's a little unstabilized. I'm trying to get some funding on it, but everything there moves slow. So I'm still trying to get a bank account so I can entertain the funding, but something that takes 3 days in the States takes 3 months on the island. So it's just, I'm still working on that situation, but that's kind of my thing right now. I eat private money is a little easier for me at this point.
Got it.
Theo, so real quick,
hold on. I want to hold off on the private money because I still want to build with Kisha on how you are investing now. So you shared about your first deal, how you sprung on. So are you in partnerships? What are you doing now? Because we're hearing a lot more about people creating private funds, private groups, partnerships. And Theo just made a great point on this is people that he thought he knew would kind of pan out. And imagine you creating groups with people you don't know. Mm-hmm. Another topic. But Kisha, tell us, how are you investing right now as you continue to go forward?
I've been a few ways. One way was, the out of pocket paying monthly, and then the fastest way after I established that. What did I do next? Oh, the next was through banks, investment loans or construction loans rather. I'm sorry, is what they call them. And then I've used construction loans. I've used hard money. I've actually partnered up with someone also. So, I partner up and use their funds to rehab, and we sold the property and split the funds. So hard money, construction loans, and partnerships.
Great. I'm gonna expand on that because we're using terms interchangeably that I want to make sure we help people understand that. Construction loans. Now, as you said, you're going to banks, big banks, small banks.
They're small banks.
Okay.
Yeah, the small banks have found work. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I could interject, I would say preferably a credit union. The TD banks, the Wells Fargos, the Bank of Americas, their stipulations for the new or small investor, to me, in my experience, has just been, it's a lot. It's a bigger headache, and you get more no's than you get yeses.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give you an auto loan with way quicker than they'll give you, money to make money.
Very good. Anthony, expand on that because you and I had a conversation about investing with local banks and credit unions. Why, especially in particular, as you talked about where that relative to the property location.
Right. So each bank, especially the credit unions, they have to allocate money to the community, to the neighborhood. So when I'm looking at investment properties, one of the other things that I'm also looking at is what's the local bank and credit union in that neighborhood. If they're within a certain distance, I definitely don't fall in love with the property, but it motivates me more because I know there's funding in the area. So here in Philadelphia, where I'm at, I was just telling people I'm a big fan, or somewhat of a big fan, of the local credit union on Baltimore Avenue. Won't drop their name because they're not giving me any promo yet. But they are on Baltimore Avenue. Right, they are on Baltimore Avenue. But yeah, you want to look at the local credit unions because those are the people that they don't have to basically listen to the big people upstairs, or the people that really, control the funding in your marketplace. They're more so community based and relationship based. And one of the biggest things I did when I first started out, I literally would go in there, dress up in a suit, even though I was nowhere near where I am today. And I would sit in that bank and say, hey, I need to talk to the branch manager, or I need to talk to the investment banker. And I literally did that. Like one time I got so mad, I kept being told no. I did it for 3 weeks straight. 3 weeks straight, I woke up every day, first person in the bank. When they opened, I was there with them. I had a little briefcase that my mom had got me when I was in college. Didn't even use it. Like, oh, I'm going to look the part. I look like a real professional. I didn't have any papers in the briefcase. No papers. But I went, and I just wanted to know what I needed to be approved for a mortgage. An investment mortgage rather, which I then found out I really needed to look for commercial real estate loans. That was the game changer for me.
There it is. Oh my gosh, I am so happy that you shared that because you guys, we've heard the numbers in terms of by ethnicity, people are getting turned down by loans, turned down for loans. And Anthony just made a point about what he said, look the part and being consistent. Because now, guess what? That bank was now accountable for him being there every day for 3 weeks and why he was being told no. Make people accountable is really what this whole platform is about in that arena, and what we do as professionals and what we're doing in terms of consumer advocacy as well. I see a couple questions in the chat box, so I want to go back to hard money. Someone said something that I think is it's funny to me as a professional when I hear someone might mention that hard money is cash. No one is dropping a suitcase in escrow. I haven't done that deal yet. Have you gotten a briefcase of cash at escrow? Theo, have you actually taken a briefcase of cash
Nope.
The escrow. Kisha, have you taken your purse with cash to escrow?
Right.
No,
No, it's not cash. No, but
there's no
it's
cash. It's
right.
wired or cashier check.
Right. And I think people mix up the term when they say, "Oh, it's cash." The difference is it's a personal source versus a bank, and the being approved is not as stringent. So like I said, I knew Joe up the street. Joe, I need 60,000. Joe's like, hey Anthony, I'll give you 60,000, but we're gonna put the house up as collateral. The house is basically what is going to be liable, as well as myself, for the money that I'm going to give you. And they basically give you terms that are probably a little more costly than a bank, but they're going to be able to move way quicker than a bank. So that gives you an advantage as well to be able to, let's just say, lowball an offer on the property, but then also close. What do you close, Kisha? 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
What hard money or
Private money, hard money, yeah. How long can you
pretty
close? How
quick?
fast can you close?
That's
Theo,
pretty
how fast are you closing?
I've never done a hard money deal. I had a hard money deal on the table a couple months ago. I had to walk away because the terms were too hard. You know what I mean? So I've never closed on a hard money deal.
Let's talk about that, Theo. Let's talk about that, Theo, because again, I want people to just, and we're going to continue to build this conversation. We can go on forever, but I just want to hear different perspectives as people are saying, man, people are using hard money loans. Theo's just saying no. I have clients that say no. And do different avenues.
For me, it just never works. I mean, the term itself, hard money. I mean, it could work for some people. I'm just saying, for me, it didn't work. I lost $3 or $4 grand. My mother was like, dude, how do you just lose that much money? Dude, because that's what I do. I'd rather lose the money up front, man, than pay all these things up front. So yeah, I walked away from a deal to finance a property in the Virgin Islands. And I didn't, first of all, it had a little more to do with the deal. I didn't like the person. He wasn't being totally straightforward with me. So there's things I look for in business. I'll lose a couple $1,000s and not lose 50 grand. So for me, you know, hard money, it could work for people. It's just, for me, I haven't had a situation that worked for me. And my advice is, like what Anthony says, I go in the bank, man. I go into the bank today, till they get tired of me, till they got to escort me out. Okay. I mean, what they gonna do? You know what I mean? I got a relationship with the credit union. I call them up to give me 10 grand over the phone, send me an email, sign it on the email, send it back. The money's in there the next day. But that's from relentlessly going in there and building that rapport. So I think, for me, I go in the bank. I want soft money. I know that's not really a term, but the hard money can work. But to me, you got to have your exit game and how you're going to get out of that. You got to have that aligned real nice. You know what I mean? And my tip on the hard money is, and this is just my opinion, you guys, so you guys can't take this set in stone. If you got to get hard money for your deal, it may not totally be the right deal. You know what I mean? Because you should be able to look for, to me, if you have a good enough deal, and it just depends, you guys. Some of you people don't have family members. You should be able to bring a family member in with terms that's less than the hard money, or bring in a friend or something. If you need $20,000 to do a deal, hard money may charge you 15% plus, you know, a whole bunch of fees off top. Hey, why don't you just do 12.5% with your boy, and he don't charge you no fees? But you got to make sure you structure it right. You got to make sure you got to have a good operating agreement. I mean, all this stuff has to be structured contractually, right? But it just depends on your situation. And I know Anthony's done hard money. He's had success with it, but he had the plan, and the exit game was lined up to get out, to get in some more softer, less harsher terms of financing.
Permanent financing.
Yeah, more permanent financing. Yeah, because hard money is really transitional financing. Really, it's not meant to be 10 years, 20 years.
Hard money. No.
Exactly. So it's just, you have to use it for the right thing, and you got to make sure it works for you. And the only reason I don't want, you know, you got to know what you're doing. See, Anthony knew what he was doing. A lot of people getting into hard money the first time. I know some guys, they just kind of got ate up on it, and they just did a turn, because when things happen, especially in construction, and you get put off 3 or 4 months, that notice still due every month. So it's just really watching yourself.
Right. And that comes as we're talking about the hard money loans, and these loans, that's part of your holding costs, is you're rehabbing this property and getting it positioned for the, whether you're going to rent or put it on the market to sell. So those are things in terms of that hard money. You want to make sure when you look at those terms, does it make financial sense that it's part of your team too, as Theo, as I'm thinking about this, because you have to have, like, once you close, you have to have your team ready to go. That's going to start working on that property, getting it ready to go, because every single day is costing you.
Every dollar counts.
Right.
Yep. You're 100% correct.
So
Lisa,
I just wanted to just add, and then Anthony, I'll let you definitely share. I just polled the participants and asked, where do they borrow money from? So family, friends, I don't ask, the bank, or private lender. And I think this is a very important perspective when we talk about borrowing money, because this is essentially, people want to know, and Theo, we talked about this on the last show, about getting your money right. Not everyone is sitting, and we talk about this in the book, not everyone's sitting on thousands of dollars to buy. So where do we start, right? I know my place, family. Start family. You start with your sphere of influence and you start to go out. So there's going to be some, I'd like to say, some emotional psychology involved, where you're going to have to get past that idea that I'm asking someone for money, so that you can get yourself to the next level. What we call that in this business, especially in the business of money, is called leveraging. So you are leveraging the ability to use someone else's money to springboard you to that next goal, to that next financial goal. So I'm going to close out this poll real quick. So it looks like 11% say they borrow from family. Nobody's asking friends. Wow. But yet you guys do partnerships. So who's that? They're not friends, huh? 11% say they don't ask. 60% says the bank, and 20% says private lender. So again, the banks are the places that most people, at least the attendees tonight, are going for money. And I really appreciate you guys putting that perspective in terms of consistently going and hitting the banks. And I wanted to put banks in two categories as we talk about depository institutions. My preference is mortgage direct lenders. The nature of their business is loans, where depository institutions like the big banks are not going to want to risk their shareholders' money when it comes to real estate, especially right now in this financial market, because we just came back, or we're trying to heal from the housing crisis of 2008, where they were out there just giving away everybody's money. They were betting on everybody's money, on your money in the bank. So there's a difference between depository institutions who create new money out of loans, who are going to want those A-grade clients and will not really look at those who are much riskier investments or partnerships. And again, it's definitions. Your bank is a partnership. You're coming in saying, I'm bringing 3.5%, and you're asking them to front the difference. That's what, 96.5. So they're going to want to scrutinize you and say, okay, can you pay me back like anyone else? But why should I give this to you? What is your track record? As Theo was saying, having that track record. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Go ahead, Anthony. In this poll, go ahead.
I was going to ask Kisha, because I know from talking to Kisha, she's had multiple experiences with the money. So could you kind of explain, Kisha, how it works with your relationship with the bank and with the partnership per se? And how that's helped you become successful?
Someone got excited about construction loans, Kisha. So
construction loans.
Yeah.
Where can one get a construction loan? How are the terms like? Okay. So a construction loan, again, they come from the smaller business banks like the Valley Greens, the East River banks. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all not from
everybody's not in Philadelphia, but if you are in Philly, Valley Green Bank is now Univest.
Oh, Univest, yeah. So the smaller banks, not the big banks.
Right.
So they're more apt to do the construction loans. And then
But how's that? Can you like keep it elementary school level on how that construction loan is structured?
Okay, so basically, because it's a higher risk, what they typically tend to do is they'll give you a certain percent of the purchase price, because you have to have some skin in the game, because again, it is a higher risk. So they may give you, with this particular bank, they'll give me 70% of the purchase price. So if the house is 100,000, they'll give me 70,000. I got to come up with the other 30%. Then I'll say, okay, well, I need 65,000 in rehab costs. They will give
in addition to
the purchase. So they will give you 100% of the rehab costs, because again, their bet is to make this house help you get this house or this property or whatever it is in the top shape, the highest possible shape it can be in, so that you can get out, they can get their money. And so they'll give you 100% of the rehab costs. And then with those numbers, so if they're lending you 70% of the purchase and 100% of the rehab, that house has to appraise for at least 70% or higher than the total cost of the loan, if that makes sense.
So roughly, what's that, about 240?
So let me get my calculator. Hold on.
Yay, numbers.
So let's see. So about 240. You're right. So the house would have to appraise for at least around 240 for them to give me those numbers.
Right, because you bought it, you said, for 100. You put 30 down. Right. And then they gave you 65.
Right.
But they're only going to give you 65 if the house has a higher value than what you're buying it and rehabbing it for.
Right.
So, and that's the relationship you said through a small bank.
Through a small bank. Now,
have you I was going to say, have you used private funding or hard money?
Now, with the private money, I would not suggest for anyone who's just new getting in to use it. They're sharks. It's pretty cutthroat, and those terms are killer. And right now I'm in a hard money loan. The plan was to get out in a year, but some other things happened where I couldn't refinance out. So now I had to extend the contract for another year, which cost me another $2,500 to borrow their money on top of the 11%, which is a low percent considering some of the other costs. 11%, interest on that loan. So I've already they've gotten about maybe 14 grand from me. But again, you have to have a quick exit strategy. It's not to get in and get and just pay a payment, because you are losing money the longer you hold it.
I'm glad that you shared that perspective when you said Theo touched on this in terms of partnership, because this is the point of us talking about what TV's not broadcasting to most people as it relates to real estate. Everybody's all on the wow, but we're learning as we go, and it's not all going to be all green pastures, and it's not going to be perfect. And like you said, Kisha, things didn't work out, and now you had to extend that contract, and now it's costing you more. Theo said the same thing in terms of partnerships. I now have to divest my portfolio right now because I'm in a bad partnership. So that's the real as it relates to real estate, you guys. It's just, you're going to learn as you go. It's not a massive failure. Pick yourself up, keep it pushing. Because what I want everyone to realize is we're talking about real estate investing. Run it as a business. There's nothing emotional about buying property from this perspective.
That's real. That's real. And I mean, I don't know. I just can't agree more. Things are going to come up. That's the thing that no one ever plans for. So I appreciate you hitting on that, because it's like, no, that is the calculation the TV never showed you guys, that something is going to happen throughout this whole thing. And you have to calculate for that, even though you cannot calculate for that. So I mean, it's hard to explain those things. It's just this is a game of a whole bunch of you rolling the dice all the time. So, and you got to be prepared for it mentally and business wise. So I couldn't agree more at all.
One of the things, Theo, that you would appreciate in the book, and those of you guys grab a copy and support not just us as indie authors, independent authors, but one of the things that we talk about in the book is actually estimating and factoring for those oopsies, right? We provide a table of expenses of how to calculate cash flow, because I know some people are out here talking about you buy a property, your mortgage is like $1,000, you rent it for 15, and your profit is 500. BS. Your profit is not 500. The biggest mistake with that is what are some other costs involved in holding investment property? Taxes, insurance,
maintenance reserve. Yeah. A maintenance reserve. I think you got to have both. But
yeah, it's not just, oh, my note and I'm profiting the difference. No, there's other expenses involved, and you need to be looking at the net operating income, right? So take all the expenses, factor in the cash flow, and I'm not going to inundate all you guys with that because I know we've got some newbies in the house, but there's levels to this that, again, this is a community we're building that you can call on any one of us. You guys had plugged your information. We're here to support you guys. Unless you guys say don't bother me. Theo, can I not bother you?
You can bother me. I'm open. Y'all like family to me. So
Kisha,
harass me. Okay?
If I call you and say, you know what?
Absolutely.
Great. So we talked about different money. So let's just ask, just to the point, someone who's looking to buy their first property, what would be the best avenue? Purchase cash, FHA? We talked about partnerships. What would you recommend for someone? Because there's some people here who tonight is saying, you know what, based on the information that I gather, this is going to support me to take that next step. Because again, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And this is a space that we just want to make sure we say, hey, going in, this is what you have to look out for. So Kisha, I'll start with you. What would you recommend?
I think it would probably have to be whatever whatever their intent is. So for instance, if my intent is to build some capital real quick, I may want to do a quick flip. And as far as money is concerned, if I don't have money, I'll reach out to friends or family if I can. If not, then I'll start looking at those smaller banks to loan. If it's let's just say, for instance, I've kind of prepared myself and say, hey, let me just save some money, which a lot of people typically don't. Our savings, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't have savings.
No, we're not surprised. We know this to be a fact of this country.
25% to be exact.
There it is.
Wow, there you go. So, if you were like me and really didn't have any savings, then you start to look at the other avenues. I really don't want to suggest hard money unless you've really done it a couple times. But, those smaller banks, asking friends and family, $2,500 here, $2,500 here, and doing a flip. Or if you have a savings, then taking a percentage and putting it down and doing a, it could be a FHA loan if you're doing like a duplex or something like that. So it just all depends on your intent on what it is that you're trying to do.
Okay, awesome. Theo, what would you recommend as someone who's looking to purchase their first property?
I'm going to answer this question from Tristan too. First, she's saying, how do I get loans? About getting loans from building properties from the ground up. I do everything through partnerships. So I put my own cash up, and I have a partnership with my father. So, he'll put some cash up. But Tristan, if you're new to real estate and you have no experience building, it's not going to be very easy for the loan to give you a construction loan or building a loan from the ground up. That's just what I think. But my advice always, like I tell everybody, I unfortunately do not work at an institution. So my best thing is taking your plan. My best advice is and it goes back to what everybody's been saying tonight is me. I like to go to the big banks first to practice asking for money. Okay, so I think that's what you need to do, Tristan. Go in there, get your finesse game straight, like how my boy A. Lee was. Then go transition to the smaller banks because you know you have a better chance with them. So that's what I do. Some days I'm just driving around like, oh, a bank. Let me just walk in there and ask for some money. Because you got to get used to asking for money. This is not stuff that's taught to us in school. Your parents never raised you up telling, hey, man, let's at dinner tonight. We're going to talk about how you go ask people for money. It's not something you do. So you got to get your finesse game right. Go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
We are at the dinner table tonight with them. We are talking about asking for money.
That's it. No, I'm glad we're here. I'm just saying people got to get their practice right. So I agree with you totally, Tristan and Lisa. But Tristan, that's my best advice for that. And I agree with Kisha in regards to the first time property. But and to extend on that, what I'm realizing more in this game is like a lot of y'all are, and not all of y'all, the TV is giving a false perception of these rehabs and this flip. Dude, this game ain't easy, man. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of you guys that want to get in and do the rehab and the first property, I would get with someone like Kisha, like A. Lee, get you 5-10 grand, throw something on their deal and figure out the game first. Stop going in, getting the hard money, getting burnt up. You don't know how to deal with a contractor because you never dealt with them before. I mean, you don't get it. You know, it's too much. It's too much to learn. So to me, my best advice for a lot of y'all is throw some money on someone else's deal first, get your game finessed right, and then learn, and then go out and do your own thing. That's my best opinion in this day and age. But I know a lot. And then my other advice is, and A. Lee knows this, to me, the bigger the better. It's actually easier to do bigger stuff, but a lot of people don't understand that until they get in. So I stopped telling people that, because if I tell them to go out and buy a 50-unit building, they're like, dude, you're crazy. But to me, it's more of a headache to manage one tenant than it is to manage 25, and I've done it. So
that's funny. And that is very true. I have a client who's like that. He said, if I'm gonna take on tenants, I'd rather take on 10 units and up than the smaller ones, because it's the same headache, and I'd rather have more cash flow for that same headache.
To me, it's actually less headache, because dude, if you have one thing go wrong, your $300 problem at one property, dude, you're pissing in your pants. If you got a $300 if you got two people that don't pay rent in a 10 unit, you still got, but people won't understand these. Yeah, they don't. It's hard for people to grasp this when they're going in. So I think my best advice in this day and age, as it stands today on the 7th of June in the year 2017, you need to put your money on with somebody else. And if you ain't got, to me, you need at least 10 grand. So if you ain't got 10 grand, you have a money problem, and you need to go solve your money problem before you get into real estate. I think that's another problem I see a lot. People have a money problem and they're trying to get into real estate, but they haven't solved the first problem, that they ain't got no money. So to me, if you don't have money stacked up, you have a money problem. You need to deal with that for a year, then get into the real estate game. So that's my best advice, and I hope that helps.
You know what? I well received, very valid, because a lot of the clientele that comes my way is positioning, actually. And so these are not clientele that are saying, I'm ready to do something now. Like, there's steps, and I'm going to spin off a whole consulting out of that just to keep, because I'm realizing, as we talk about saving, to have real estate on the brain in the midst of our lives, of everything else, there's got to be a balance to have an accountability person and say, check in with you every quarter and say, all right, so where's real estate in the plan, especially if you don't do this every single day. So that's something that I'm looking, that I am doing already, but I'm really going to start to offer that, because I'm seeing people need to have reach with us, right? And be able to have that support with someone to say, all right, look, I fell off my game, but I still, the goal, right? What's the goal? What's the goal? So thank you, Theo, for sharing that. You started to go into strategy in terms of your success. Yes, Anthony.
You didn't let me get my chime in.
You can get your turn in. I see there's a hand up, and I just want to ask, Mikeia, are we good? I saw you and Anthony were in the chat about credit union, so I wasn't sure. Are we good? And Anthony, Mikeia, are you good? Just okay, yes or no? If you still had your question. I just want to make sure that we're getting to everybody's question, because the questions that you ask are those questions that other people have as well, because we're all learning. And I like to say we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can start where we are and continue to build that dialogue from there. So, all right.
I'm
So,
also
Anthony,
telling
your thoughts.
people they can email me if your question does not get answered tonight, just for the sake of people's time. But I would
Absolutely.
say, if you're just starting out, as Kisha just said, she just wrote it. I'm saying from my experience, so I can agree with Theo and disagree. I'm saying, hey, I'm one of those people. I still don't know how to save all the time. I can save for what the goal is, but to keep it and put it away, that's another story. But my credit is really what gets me in the mix and helps me build and keep going. Because I'm not out here using my credit cards at Lord and Taylor's, King of Prussia Mall, and trying to get the latest pair of Jordans or whatever. I'm strictly using my credit to make money. It took me some time to get to that point because, like Theo said, my parents didn't tell me like, hey, those credit cards, you're still gonna have to pay them back, even if you act like you didn't see that phone call when they said the payment was past due. So probably when I became an adult, I realized how important credit was, and especially once I got into real estate. So I would say anybody that's trying to start, and even if you don't have money, but you have good credit, as Theo said, find somebody that has the cash, you have the credit. Try to blend your resources together. And let's just say you have credit and you have some money, then that's where you slow walk the process. And like Theo said, you don't necessarily need to be rehabbing properties or trying to do new construction. Start out with the FHA loan. Leverage your credit and try to just learn the process. Just the buy-in process within itself of the paperwork is a struggle and something that people would have to learn. Use your credit as a first-time home buyer, 600 credit score, 620 credit score, at least here in Pennsylvania.
580.
All right, so we can go down to 580, but in Pennsylvania, not too many people are getting approved at that 580. So with that 600, 620, go ahead and get a property that doesn't need a lot of work. I call them grandmom's houses because they've been taken care of. They're outdated. There's nothing wrong with still, buying a pair of pin pocket Guess jeans or some Jabot jeans. They still do the same thing. So I take that same mentality and look at a house that got the panel walls or the wallpaper, and I can get it in for a cheap down payment. And then I just turn it over myself, add value to it, equity in it, and rehab it with a little bit of paint, whatever it does. But the thing is, I got a low interest rate and a very, 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 very small down payment. Then once you go from there, I'm saying, hey, I'm jumping into the private money because I can buy multiple properties at once. They'll give me the money to buy that property. They'll give me the money to rehab the property. And once you build that relationship, you probably can start buying properties just off, like Theo said, off your reputation. And as Kisha said, just knowing what to look for now. And you won't need any money out of pocket, or at least very minimum money. At best now, the way I built my systems in with my properties, I'm only putting the deposit down. I'm not putting 10% down. I'm not putting 20% down. I'm strictly putting the deposit down. And then as an agent, you might as well say I get the deposit back because I get the commission when I buy the house. Then that gives me more money to free up to keep rolling to the next deal. And then from there, it's pretty much a domino effect. And the way I look at it, everybody on here, everybody that's trying to learn this game, I'm telling you, you are smart enough. You will figure it out. I was no genius. I wasn't an honor roll student. None of that stuff. But I figured it out. I just was relentless. Not to mention the only fear I have is failure. That's the only thing I'm scared of. So once I lock in and put my name on it and my reputation is at stake, I'll figure it out. And that's what I did. My very first deal, it took me a year just to get out of the hard money. But even though I had to do an extension and spend more money just to get the extension, I still kept the house. I still was getting cash flow. With the extension, the rent was still covering enough that that money was still going to be good. Once I got the permanent financing, it all went away. All it does is just build a little anxiety. Everybody deals with anxiety differently. So whether the deal, I don't even know whether the deal is good, bad, or indifferent, but if you can get in the deal and there's a way to figure it out, you'll figure it out. But I will say with caution, just make sure that you know what your exit strategy is going to be, whether you're going to sell the property, whether you're going to refinance the property. But do your due diligence on what the exit strategy is just as much as you're doing the due diligence on getting the first property. I'll say it again, do the due diligence. The exit strategy is just as important as the entrance of that property, because that right there alone will just set you back. But the thing is real estate, and this is why I love real estate, because no matter what happens, you can figure it out. And there's always somebody that knows how to fix the situation. Like Theo said, he lost $4,000. He ain't crying about it. It is what it is. You can't take it personal, but you go ahead, dust yourself off. You get to the next deal. You might lose $4,000 on one deal. Next grand, you might make 12. So at the end of the day, what difference does it make? Go for it. You'll figure it out. You are smart enough to figure it out, and there's plenty of resources out here to get it done. Keish, have you ever lost money on a deal?
Yeah, I have.
You still doing real estate now?
I'm still doing real estate. But here's the thing. I tell people I've never been in the red. So even though I've lost some money, so for instance, like the hard money, I'm paying $500 a month just to borrow that money. And people are like, oh, you're wasting that money. But guess what? That property that I'm paying $500 on, it appraised at $199. You know what I mean? I pay $37,000 for it. So what I'm losing well, I'm not even losing 500, because once I get pulled out of this hard money, I'm going to be making 15 just on the top unit. It's a commercial building. So it's really not a loss. A loss is like, okay, it's $500 just going out there.
It's a delayed step before you really get to.
That's a better, yeah.
Right, till the balloons and the fireworks come out. That's all. It's just a delay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Theo, you ever lost money?
Because the house that I lost the $3,000 on probably got into it. It's worth $1 million. So when it gets refinanced, what's $3,000? You know what I mean? So exactly. I'm waiting. It's if you think you're gonna get in this game and win every single thing, you lost your mind, man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're gonna lose. I'm just saying, first of all, it's only a loss if you don't learn from it. I learned why I lost that $3,000. You know what I mean? But that's the only way. And like Lee said, it's never a failure if you learn from it, grow from it, and figure out how to never go through it again. Or if you do go through it again, how do we just transition out of it pretty smoothly? So I mean, this is the game, man. Things are gonna happen. It's gonna be road bumps. It's just how you bounce back from them and keep it moving, man, at all the costs, man, by any means necessary.
Hey, Lisa, I know it's getting late, and I know your time is different than our time over there in LA.
Look, I was just watching. I appreciate all the attendees that are still on. I'm looking at who's still in, and
look, they're trying to figure this thing out. That's why I feel like we're gonna have to do a part 2. We're going to have to do a part 2 before the book release on June 24th.
This is actually just a taste. We'll bring different people back. We're gonna share different perspectives. So yeah, I know I do this. Actually, the sun is not even all the way down on my side. so I'm okay with it. But this is what we do. You guys, thank you so much. I'm happy to support anything. Do you have anything in the mix that you want to plug and just connect with people? I know we did the emails and your social media information. Just go ahead and say it out loud. I know we plugged it in there, but Anthony, you go ahead, plug you, and we'll just go around. Anthony, Kisha, then Theo.
All right. So again, Anthony Lee here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You can follow me at A Lee Real Estate on all social media sites. June 24th, we're going to be releasing the book, The Teen and Millennial Investment Blueprint. Again, June 24th. So I definitely hope you guys can come out support. And if you guys aren't able to support, you can now pre-order it on aleerealestate.com or realestate100.net.
There it is. Kisha, please. Your social media plug.
Social media is Deals in Heels 215. So it's DEALS in Heels.
Type it in the comments. You typed it in the comments already, Keisha?
No, I'll put it in right now.
Okay. And Keisha's still looking for deals as well. She's always actively looking for deals because it's about to be summertime. So you don't got to be teaching none of those kids right now. So I know you ready to get out there in your heels and knock some walls down.
If we didn't, oh my gosh, I'm gonna let Theo do that. But thank you for pointing that out. Actually, you guys, as professionals and investors and partners, you guys get paid on referrals. So everybody wins. Come on, man. Theo,
Right.
plug us.
TheloniousJones.com. I'm gonna plug it here. I got free ebooks. I actually got a free real estate course you could go take, 14-day course.
Perfect.
Landlordblueprint.com. I just switched that up. That I give you a free ebook and tell you more about my course and my system.
Hey, put that link to that ebook. Put the link in there for that ebook. I'm telling y'all, I've read the ebook.
Oh, go get it. Go to landlordblueprint.com. I also got another book, howtostackyourmoney.com, because I want to teach people how to stack their money up, because that's how I've got into real estate. So I just plugged all my websites. You can go there, go check it out. I post on YouTube almost every single day, so you can check new videos on there. And we're coming out with a radio station soon. I actually need to talk to y'all about possibly getting a show on there. So hey, it's a lot. I got a lot of stuff coming. I actually demonetized my YouTube this weekend, and I got my own commercials on there. So hey man, we coming from the underground and we taking it all. We taking it above ground, probably to the heavens. So hey, that's what I'm doing. Check me out.
To the heavens.
Yeah, I'm just trying to add value, man. I'm trying to I have a unique style, but hey man, I give it to you straight. And I'm telling you guys only from experience. So I just try to give the best information from experience. And I appreciate y'all just being on here tonight, because it means a lot to me for y'all to sit here and get this information. So thank y'all. And please reach out at any time. And, we're going to make it work.
Hey, Lisa, can you give us yours, but don't close it out once you give us yours.
Okay, no worries. So I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at LA Super Agent. Website is lasuperagent.com. Connect. And let's just keep building this dialogue. I really appreciate everybody who tuned in. Brian, Leo, Tristan, Will. Will's trying to get our autographs. Did you see that? I love it. I felt so special just now. If I'll be in, this is a rare opportunity to actually have Anthony and I in the same space. Because when we do the book release here, he's talking about trying to get on a train to California from Philly. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but I'm jumping out on a plane to come out there so we can do the event and you can actually have this copy of the book signed. What makes this book
show him the copy. Show it to him.
What makes this book very unique, you guys, it is the first of its kind in history, in our market, in our genre. As a matter of fact, we created this genre where we are actually introducing real estate literacy to a younger generation. So some of you are newbies to this. So this just means, don't let the title dissuade you. It just means that if you have no concept of real estate literacy, that's terms, ideas, concepts, this is the book. This is just leveling up from what put me on this platform, which is the part one. The teen home buying experience, partnered up with Anthony to shift the mindset from being a first-time home buyer to, guess what, first-time landlord. That's some level up stuff. So this is not just about supporting what we do, but really we just, man, what we did. Woo! They ready, Anthony?
They're going to be ready soon enough. But definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. And I just want to leave off with this. So, Keisha, Theo, my last question for you guys before we close out. Yes. What is your daily routine, or what would you say is something that has helped you just become successful in life? And I know, we're not millionaires yet, but we're on our way. So I just want to share with some people that are trying to get started, trying to get that motivation. What are some of the things that have helped you, whether it be a book, a routine, podcast? What are some of the things that helped you you know, reach your success and stay motivated. And you last, Lisa. You last, please. Go ahead, Keith.
I'll say being around other people who are doing the things that I'm trying to do. Those people who've been successful, those people who I can get information from, who's not, stingy with sharing the information. So people telling me where to find money. People telling me what areas are hot to invest in. People who are saying, let's partner up. You know what I mean? And real quick, we were talking earlier about how to get money. And at the time, the person who I partner up with, his credit was shy. And so I didn't have the liquid cash. We had to front $30,000. He had it, but he couldn't get the loan. So my credit was good enough. We partnered up. I got the loan. We did it together with our names on it. He put the cash up. We sold the house and split it down the middle. So linking up with those people who have the same mindset is important in order to be successful. Those people who are saying, I'm not afraid to take a risk because, you know what I mean? I've been watching what you're doing, and I've never been in the red. I've always been in the green. So even if I lost $3,000 or whatever, in the end, that $3,000 is going to come back 100-fold because, you know what I mean? It's worth so much more. So getting with people who are doing what you're trying to do and have the same mindset.
Great.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you.
I mean, I agree totally. And I think honestly, that's one of my downfalls because I don't really have a lot of, to me, solid people here in Atlanta. So I'm still working on that. But for me, since I don't have that, it's continually listening to stuff every day, listening to something new, to get my mind stimulated. And then, this next thing is just getting around people that, man, that ain't like talking crazy, man. I mean, it's a lot of people you're going to tell and this is another thing that I think a lot of people never talk about is the emotional taxation of getting into real estate, because none of your family's going to understand what you're talking about. They're going to talk down to you. You're going to talk to people that have no clue what they're talking about. I'm mentoring a guy now in Columbus, Ohio, and his aunt told him, oh, I don't put you shouldn't put appliances in your rental property before the tenant because they're going to mess them up. And I text him back like, bro, how many properties does she own? Oh, she don't own any. So first of all, dude, it's getting around people that, like Kisha's saying, that got the same mindset, that's not talking crazy. Oh, I did that and all tenants are bad. Dude, you need to get those people out your life, man, because they're not going to help you. They're negative. And the only reason they're saying that is because they didn't understand something. And then they didn't, all the stuff we told you today, they didn't have an exit plan. They didn't have goals. They didn't, they didn't do their partnership, whatever it is. So now they think crumbled and they trying to rain that parade on you. So I think it's really just getting your mind right daily, whether that's people, information, meditation, going to church, whatever you need to do. I don't know, but getting your mind recalibrated. And another thing that's accelerated me is, dude, working every day, man. I don't, all this 5 days a week. I need a break. I'm tired. And man, that's some, I need balance. Man, I do more work in St. Croix than a lot of people do in a whole week. I'm working. You know what I mean? I got lists when I go out there. Like I'm always working. It is never a break. You know what I mean? So to me, that's one thing that's always helped me out is, dude, staying. I try to put in 15 to 20 hours in the weekend because that's how much the average person's putting in during the week by the time they play with Instagram and Facebook for 20 hours. So it's just, how do you separate that gap and keep your mind in a good spot and get this is the last thing I'm going to say. You got to get to me, when you're on the road, think about this. If you're on the road and you're in the left lane and someone's behind you, they're trying to get around you, they're flicking you off, they got the high beams on, you know what that person's trying to do. They're intentionally being nasty or whatever to get around you. That's fine. To me, you need to watch out for the individuals the lost individuals, they from out of town. 1 minute they making a right, then they making a left, and you trying to get around them. Now they trying to make a U-turn, so you don't know what to do. Those people are, to me, more dangerous. So you got to stay away from the people that are like butterflies, just floating around, going through the motions of life. You know what I mean? You got to get around people that's intentional, deliberate, and they're going out every day with a mission, because those other people, man, they'll throw your game off, man. So that's my advice. I'm agreeing really just riding off what Kisha says. It's just getting that energy correct. You know what I mean?
Very good.
Lisa?
My perspective on success, most folks who connect with me know that that's a personal definition for me, is what you define as that. This for me right now, this is success. This moment right here, because we are creating this real estate community for the people who don't have access to realtors in their family, to investors in their family, uh, that don't have that immediate access, because I keep saying people don't know that you can actually buy income property from that FHA loan unless someone like myself or people here have told you that. So this for me is success. Aside from all the fun stuff I've had the opportunity to do and travel with the book and launch a book tour, my business is elevating because I have put myself out there, but it really comes from a place of purpose, passion, and intention. And I think it's everything that everyone has already shared in a nutshell, that I surround myself with like-minded individuals. And I just love on that. Like, this is really me loving on you guys and creating a platform for us to elevate ourselves. And guess what? Every single person that has signed on tonight, I thank you, because this is not just about us, but this is about you solidifying to yourself that I want to be around people who are elevated, that could take me to the next level. Because in order for us to go up, you guys are supporting us, and we know that we stand on the shoulders of great ancestors, and we just continue that. So I love you, love you, love you. What has gotten me here is all of you.
I will definitely appreciate everybody for that. With that said, I'll just leave it off with same thing, guys. What has helped me get to this point in my life is, one, relationships, and not just taking from people, but how can I help them? How can they help me? And we just build with each other. And from there, sometimes just doing things non-related to real estate ended up helping the real estate business without knowing. Just being genuine and wanting to just work with people or just learn people's story. You'd be surprised what you learn from somebody else's story and what they did. Um, and from there, it's just really like Theo said, yo, you got to get up every day and try to get it. Like, I'll tell you, I have some good weeks and some awesome weeks, but all my awesome weeks, they always come when I'm deliberate and I wake up either the night before or the morning of, and I write down my daily goals. Sometimes when I know I'm really, really out here hunting for properties, I write down my goals weeks in advance. And when I write those things down, the stars kind of line up and everything kind of moves out the way. And it just happens. I can't kind of explain it, but it really happens. So I write down those things, those affirmations, my goals that I need to accomplish, the big goals, the little goals. And I also now at this point in my life, I'm not scared to write down the goals that make me feel like I'm crazy. Yo, if they don't make you feel like you're crazy, they're not big enough. So
That's right.
you gotta, like Theo said, why not buy a 50-unit building? Just imagine when you come to the family reunion and they like, hey, that's Theo. You know, that's Theo's son. That's Theo. That's boy Theo. That's little Theo. You know, he owned that apartment building over on Crenshaw. Like, that Theo? Yes, that Theo. I mean, or Keisha, yo, you know, she just flipped like 12 houses down Northern Liberties. Like, yo, you can do it. We can do it. You know, it takes time. And another thing that I'll leave you guys with, I had to learn, was taking the time and just appreciating the journey. So it took me 4 years to get a high school diploma. It took me 5 years to really get my college degree. But at the end of the day, I got it done and I did it. Nothing happened overnight. And like I said, even now, I started out buying one property a year. Then I went to the next level. I was buying two properties a year. And then eventually now I'm at the point where I know I can buy anywhere from 3 to 5 properties a year and still maintain my household, manage everything else I got going on, and, you know, still look to the future. Like, yo, if I bought 5 last year, next year I got to buy 10. So just write down your goals, be around people that, like Theo said, they're not toxic, you know, they're not negative, and just be deliberate with what you want. And then it's okay to switch it up as well. Like, yo, you might say tomorrow you want to do single family houses. Next week you might want to do triplexes. But it's yours. You can do it. So just write it down, give it a shot. And I'm telling y'all, go for the goal. But again, if y'all not following us, make sure you do. We'll leave our contact info. If you guys, Kisha, Theo, want to leave your email address for people to reach out to you, send you some deals or some comments, also please feel free to do that. And I don't know, Lisa, I feel like we got to do this a lot sooner than I thought we were gonna do it, do the next one. So me and you got to talk about that offline. But again, thank you guys, appreciate it. Kisha, thank you. I know you got to go to class tomorrow, Kisha.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you all who are not in Pacific time zone for staying up. I was just kind of watching the chat room to see, just out of kicks and giggles, who was still up. But when it comes to real estate, I guess like we can do this all day. We're not going to do that tonight. Everybody will have access to the replay, and that's a wrap. We're out, right?
Don't forget, check the offer page. We got some offers with the discount. You can get the book right now with 15% off. Gotta plug that.
Perfect. Thank you. Plug. 15% off. Oh my gosh, yes. And that's all we're gonna say. And thanks you guys for being on Ready Set Real Estate. We just keep going. We just keep building.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Good night. God bless.
Good night.
All right.